and welcome to Citation Media, podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Cecil, and I'll be running this circus this week, but I'll need my monkeys. I couldn't get Mickey, Davey, Michael, and Peter, so I'll have to settle for Heath, Tom, Eli, and Noah. That's a boomer joke.
I'm a daydream skeptic, but yeah, I feel like it still works.
And I'm really more of a sea monkey, Cecil, in that I'm
Sure.
something of a novelty. It seems like a better idea in theory than in practice. So, yeah.
Well, for whatever it's worth, at least we evolved from filthy monkey man, right? Listeners, I spelled that with 2 E's in the notes. I'm down with the boomer jokes. Yeah.
Patrons, without you, our terrible cramped conditions would be a cubicle where we made cold calls to sell fake thumbs and souped up hacky sacks. If you'd like to join the ranks of people,
Down hacky sack. Yeah, I was thinking the same.
tune down hacky
sack with
sacks if you'd
nitrous
like
in it.
to. You'd like to join the ranks of people who prevent telemarketers from existing, be sure to stick around until the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Noah, what person would ever choose Eli to do an essay?
Yeah, if we followed the show's formula, it would have been you, Cecil. That's
Okay,
why
all
you
right.
don't follow the show's fucking
Okay,
formula.
all right,
Touche.
That's
Touche.
okay. All right. So it says here we're going to talk about Seaworld. So Eli, you're ready to say literally nothing factual for 30 minutes.
It is, in fact, my turn to do an essay this week, Cecil, so yes.
All right. So tell us about your version of Seaworld.
So the legions of folks who listen to our show might not know this, but we started out as skeptics. Yes, long before Noah's book deals, Tom's award-winning sitcom Honey, I Broke the Kids, and Heath's now nationwide Burn a Book Club, we used to make our living debunking the dumb, ridiculing the ridiculous, and appending assholery.
Attaching stuff to assholes is confusing there. I feel like you were going for maybe upending or something.
Maybe he's thinking about that time he shit so hard his appendix came out.
Oh, okay.
The time he put the pro in prolapse, you know.
See, I ran out of big words, but
Assailing
I'll admit-
assholery, whatever. It's fine.
oh, right there. See, be a giver. Be a giver. Help
It's
me.
so much easier.
Help me. But I'll admit our previous targets were a bit easier, right? Homeopathy, seeing your dead child in heaven, chortle-worthy, easy targets of our derision. But today,
Yes.
I want to talk about one of the biggest failures of skepticism in American history. A failure that almost no average American knows about, and it's all the fault of a bunch of fish-loving hippies. I'm talking, of course, about SeaWorld.
I feel like the failures of skepticism in American history deserve their own tier list.
Yeah.
And it all starts in the S tier above A for us in America. We did invent like a
Right?
whole new range. American exceptionalism,
Yeah.
the range.
Like
I
how
guess
we're the
bottom-
only ones in the World
I don't know.
Series. Exactly. But first things first, SeaWorld was the brainchild of 4 UCLA grad students, Milton C. Shedd, Ken Norris, David DeMont, and George Millet. And originally, their hope was for it to be an underwater restaurant that included a marine life show. But when they learned that underwater restaurants were impossible, they settled on just seals and shit and opened in San Diego's newly constructed Mission Bay in 1964.
Oh, okay. Anybody who tells you can't operate a restaurant underwater has clearly never seen Manhattan Rents.
And for the record, listeners, there are at least 11 of these so-called impossible underwater restaurants. You can book reservations
Not
now.
in 1964, there weren't, Tom.
Impossible
Didn't have the technology.
is a strong word, Eli.
It's like they're made out of Etruscan mirrors, damn it.
Not yet. It's not
And look,
impossible.
by all accounts, SeaWorld, when it opened, fucking sucked, okay? When it opened, it had, quote, a few dolphins, sea lions, 6 attractions, and 22 acres, end quote. Tickets were $2.25 for adults, $1.25 for kids aged 12 to 17, and only 60 cents for kids under 12. The park opened under the name SeaWorld, 2 words, but eventually got rid of the space between the words to avoid confusion with another park named SeaWorld in Australia, which, fun fact, is why the street that goes past the park is still named SeaWorld Drive, with a space in between.
Okay, good clarification. I was fucking lost for a second. All right, got it.
A whole paragraph on the use or non-use of the space between words in a title. Tell me you have a bachelor in the arts without telling me you have a bachelor in the arts.
And I know what you're thinking. Eli, dolphins, sea lions. Where are the whales? When I think SeaWorld, I think whales. Well, don't get ahead of me. SeaWorld started out as a dolphin show that took place in an enclosed area of Mission Bay.
Yeah, they actually tried doing it in the unenclosed spaces of Mission Bay, but the dolphins just swam away. And
Sure.
Yeah, it
that's
just
not
went
as
home.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A separate stadium
Why is
would
that guy
eventually
whistling? They're not coming back, dude.
There's all the fish out there. Your one fish is not. You understand? They have all of them now. A separate stadium would eventually be built in 1971 to ensure that the dolphins lived in a, quote, filtered environment.
Okay, that's just a nice way of saying they were living in poison until then, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was 1971. After birth, the mom would have a cigarette and then give a drag to the baby. We had different ideas on what a filtered environment was.
Right, yeah, no, we wouldn't get around to taking asbestos out of our houses for another 18 fucking years. I have trouble feeling too sorry for the dolphins.
What Flipper was trying to tell us. But poison or no,
Somebody
the
living in
original
Flint, Michigan, listening to this right now, like, oh, check your privilege.
Yeah, right.
roommate comes in the room. What's up? You listen to Citation Needed again? Not now.
Yeah.
The roommate's a dolphin. I forgot to say
No,
that.
right.
Otherwise, it's just a person entering the room. Ignore me. Cecil, fix that in post.
No.
But
No, continue now. Go.
But poison or no, the original Dolphin Lagoon would turn into a venue for acrobatic shows, including the classic Muscle Beach show and one of the first running Cirque du Soleil shows in the country, Cirque de la Mer. The stadium still hosts the acrobatic show Cirque Electrique during the summertime as part of the Electric Ocean, which I'm sure is almost as absurdist and disturbing as whatever the fuck the Muscle Beach show was.
I feel like the Electric Ocean show should just be a bunch of dead marine life floating upside down on the surface, though, right?
But the electric eel's like, yes, now's my
Yeah.
time to shine, baby.
But that's not all. They also had the Theater of the Sea, a 160,000-gallon rectangular aquarium with seats on all four sides. The aquarium housed a few dolphins, and divers would put on underwater shows, which, according to BehindTheThrills.com,
Oh, wow.
only the best sources
Sure.
for you, listener, quote, when paired with an exciting musical score and dramatic lighting, made for an unforgettable experience, end quote. I guess we'll have to take their word for it.
Okay, I would love to see that if the dolphins were treated well. That sounds adorable, right?
Yeah,
Dolphin
sure.
Theater, they're doing like Shakespeare or whatever. Sure, come on.
So the
To be or not to be.
There it is. I was trying to find it. There it is. So the Theater of the Sea also had Commerson's dolphins, otherwise known as skunk or panda dolphins, making SeaWorld San Diego one of the few aquariums in history to display the red list endangered species. You ready for an ominous as fuck couple of sentences? Quote, in 1997, the dolphins would be moved to the backstage pools as the Theater of the Sea would be demolished to make Shipwreck Rapids, a river rapids ride still in existence today. Continuing the quote, Shipwreck Rapids is, of course, located in the Shipwreck Island area of the park, which is themed as a South Pacific island, where many ships and their crews have been marooned. The four fictional stranded ships are the Implausible, the RMS Royal Star, Holy Mackerel, and Dreamboat 2. The Theater of the Sea was exactly located, and I love this so much, where the dining tables by Shipwreck Reef Cafe are today. End quote.
Okay, I'm sorry. A shipwreck themed cafe.
Mhm.
What do they serve your own urine in the flesh of your less fortunate companions? There, Jesus.
Worse, as you're about to learn. So, Eli, you ask, were there sponsorships? Was there merch? You bet your sweet asses there was. While Disney was cuddling up to those frozen juice peddlers over at Dole, SeaWorld scored a sweet partnership with Hawaiian Punch and created the Hawaiian Punch Village, an island-themed area in which specialty tropical drinks with names like Hawaiian Punch Red, Hawaiian Punch Yellow, and the Green Dolphin were served for just 55 cents a pop.
He's saying it was 55 cents to punch a dolphin. That's what he's saying.
And for $1, you could do the reverse dunk tank. You get 3 throws. I feel like that's coming up, given the trajectory of how horrible this place is.
Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Eli, it sounds like Hawaiian Punch Village might have verged on the tasteless. So let's step right over that verge into another original attraction of SeaWorld, the Japanese Village.
Yikes.
Another quote from, another quote from Behind the Thrills here. Quote, "The Japanese Village aimed to bring Americans to a land where they'd never been before and experience the culture of another country. The main attraction was a large saltwater pool, which held performances by Japanese pearl divers. Park guests would purchase a tin from the nearby store, and a traditionally dressed diver would go to the bottom of the pool, grab an oyster, and drop the pearl into the tin." End quote. And folks, I have seen pictures of this place. I have put the least offensive one in our notes, and they are rough.
Okay, this is the least, I guess that makes sense. Like, honestly, this is way less offensive than I was picturing when you said the Japanese village of SeaWorld.
Yeah, no, the fact that they're not diving in kimonos and samurai armor is downright progressive for the 70s.
Right. Yes. To be clear, what they had in the water were dolphins and Japanese people.
Okay, it's called Hiroshimu. I think we should leave.
Oh,
I quit the SeaWorld.
That's as good as the episode gets, everybody. If you want to turn it off now, Hiroshimu, that's the peak. We reached the top of the mountain. But like it or not, underwater breakfast at Triton's made a lot of money, and so did SeaWorld. However lame, and more than 400,000 guests visited in the first 12 months alone. SeaWorld would go on to build parks in Orlando, Florida, that's the one you've heard of, San Antonio, Texas, Abu Dhabi, and Aurora, Ohio. The children's book publisher Harcourt Brace Jovanovich would buy the company in 1976. Anheuser-Busch, yes, the beer company, bought the company from them in 1989.
Do you kids want to see a dolphin catch a beer from the Bud Light Power Cannon?
It's a weird business choice.
Bottlenose.
Nice.
I mean, I get your joke, Cecil, but yeah, I would. Is that still on the table?
Right, no, exactly.
So in July of 2008, Anheuser-Busch was purchased by Belgian-Brazilian brewer InBev. And in 2009, the combined AB InBev sold its Busch Entertainment division to the Blackstone Group, which, if you're not familiar, are the bad guys that your stupid uncle imagines Hillary Clinton to be. Very nice people, good tippers. The company was renamed SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment in December 2009. I did magic for them. And in 2013, Blackstone, who tipped very well and were very nice to me, sold 37% of that company in an initial public offering. But if you want to know why, you're going to have to stick around for the end of this story.
Well, while we confiscate Eli's notes to make sure he doesn't have any other ethnic worlds he'd like to describe, we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, dude, you got to see this next exhibit.
I still can't believe you brought me here. I don't want to.
This one's going to make it worthwhile. Trust me.
So excited for this one.
Yeah, this one is awesome.
Bonjour.
Right? They have a French guy in here.
Sorry, they've got a human being in a cage here?
Oh my God, dude. Can we just not do this?
Do what? They've got a guy in a cage. That's what you just said.
So settle down. First of all, he's French. He's not a guy. Second, he's in an enclosure, and maybe, just maybe, he loves it in there.
Non, je n'aime pas ça.
See?
Nope. No, I do not see. Look, I get that we can't understand him because it's a different language, but like, he's very obviously unhappy. Look at him.
S'il vous plaît, laissez-moi partir.
See? He loves it. Look, give him some of the bread. Look, see how he eats the bread?
The baguette.
I think he's just hungry, so eats it.
Oh my God. I knew you were going to do this. I eat Jamaican babies. Is that bad? Is that bad? Huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Really?
Serious question?
Jesus.
Look, we have no idea whether or not this dude would be dead if he wasn't here. Okay. Do you want him to die?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
You hear how that's nothing, right? What you just said, that's nothing?
I'm done. I am done. You can stay here and try to free the French guy. I'm not letting you ruin my day.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Spoil sport.
Je pense que peut-être c'est quoique est une simplification excessive.
Dude, you got to pick a lane.
Okay.
And we're back. When we left off, SeaWorld was running the second most racially offensive theme park in Orlando. Top 5 at least. What's next, Eli?
All right. What happened next, Cecil, was orcas. Killer whales. Sham to the motherfucking ooh. Orcas and SeaWorld are synonymous. They're so closely tied that until fairly recently, pin in that, an orca was in their fucking logo. Because there had been dolphin and seal shows at circuses and aquariums forever. Hell, you could pay a nickel to fuck a walrus when Cecil and Noah were kids.
Jesus.
But whale shows
Good.
were new. And just like their stars, they were huge.
So when Eli says whale shows, don't think donkey shows. It's a completely different concept.
Different.
Okay.
Longtime listeners will remember from other episodes that if dolphins are involved, it's actually not that different of a concept.
That's right. Correct. Good point. So the whales at SeaWorld live in a 5.8 million US gallon tank, which Wikipedia thinks will be more understandable if I tell you it's equivalent to 9 Olympic-sized swimming pools, in case you're intimately familiar with those.
How many
In
teaspoons?
nines.
I want this
Yeah.
in teaspoons.
Yeah. Each of them are known as Shamu Stadium. Shamu was the name of the first killer whale brought to SeaWorld San Diego in the 1960s from the Seattle Marine Aquarium, and is now used as a stage name for killer whales in performances at SeaWorld parks. Currently, SeaWorld houses 19 killer whales in its 3 parks. I don't want to get into the arguments for or against whales in captivity because 1, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and 2, I think there are passionate, good faith experts on both sides of said argument, and what those experts agree on is that people like me need to shut the fuck up. And I know
So you're going to
there are
do that for the first time?
I am. I'm going to shut the fuck up. Well, but kind of. I'm still, there's more talking,
No.
but not about their expertise. I think they'll be very
Slow
okay.
motion, no, Heath. Slow motion, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to admit up front that I know that there are people out there who will think I'm doing some great injustice by not diving into that controversy, but those people can kiss my holistically vegan ass. That's right, you carnist fucks. Send your emails to your local Red Lobster. But I do want to talk about the public perception of whales because that's really going to matter to what happens next.
For the record, none of the listeners eat whale. Okay, I feel like I feel like that entitles everyone to talk some shit here. However much shit you want to talk.
I bet we have a listener that eats whale. I'm not willing to
I'm
say
certain of it.
No, that's fair.
Okay, so you see, through most of history, the common perception of whales was that they were really big, really dangerous fish. Oh, what's that? What's that? Technically, they're mammals. Save it for trivia night, Charles Darwin. It looked like a big fish and it was scary. That's what we knew. But then, in 1993, the movie Free Willy came out. And a child molester sang a song about
Jesus
friendship.
Christ.
And every single person in America was like, those big fish have souls and they go to heaven when they die, which was great for SeaWorld. That is, until it wasn't.
I mean, if I remember the resolution of Free Willy, the movie was about freeing Willy from captivity. So I
that
can
is
see how
also
that
what I
might not
remember.
be a win for SeaWorld.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that real actor whale that played Free Willy got
Actor whale.
released and yeah,
He's
got
got a
released
SAG
and
card.
died of pneumonia right after that.
Holy shit, really?
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad story.
Right in his trailer. It was terrible. Yeah.
Natalie,
We did get the Free Willsiak episode of South Park though, and that's
Yeah.
funny stuff because of Free Willy.
Pretty good.
Heath, you probably
pretty
missed
good.
it, but I said, Natalie, woo!
Oh no, I got you. I got you.
You hear it.
Like
that-
Natalie was
that's solid.
the
That's
the
solid.
actress. There it was.
That was really
Everybody.
solid. That was really solid. I was doing a bit to like pretend I heard. No,
You were doing
very
a
good.
funny joke, but I thought I could just throw that one in there and we can let the folks at home
Jump over the top of it.
Enter 2013's Blackfish, a documentary so full of shit I who watch Christian movies for a living and have read my own essays on this podcast was like, damn, that's too much lying.
I thought you were going to do a whale voice with Christopher Walken voice at the same time to get it going, but like,
I'm going to need
I
this.
don't know. I didn't even know what that would be. I don't know. It's
Wait,
impossible.
whoa. That's pretty good. Yeah, this is close, right? So Blackfish tells the story of Tilikum, an orca at SeaWorld who was responsible for the deaths of 3 people, including a trainer named Dawn Brancheau. Side note here, killer whales do, in fact, kill people, right? Right there in the name. You'd think that would be kind of obvious. But like, it's worth pointing out, they kill people in the wild, they kill people in captivity, and whatever your opinions are on whales in captivity, they do it because they're big, stupid fish, right? Your goldfish would kill you if it could as well, because it's a fish. That's what fish do. They kill stuff and get killed. It's their whole thing.
Yeah, the goldfish to-do list entails killing what they can and checking out that little treasure chest that blows bubbles. And then immediately forgetting about it.
Right, and then kill more shit. Well, and streaming an impossibly long shit behind them, like the Roadrunner smoke trail or something. Yeah.
I don't like how much I have in common with goldfish based on those two a bit. Just to be clear,
They help
feel
Ted
attacked.
Lasso teach lessons, which is good.
Right. But like I said, as a nation, we were pretty sure that orcas composed poetry in their spare time. And Blackfish, I shit you not, proposed that whales like Tilikum were, their words not mine, psychologically destroyed by captivity and had become, again, their words, psychotic.
Okay, I feel like you're saying that's impossible. That seems plausible to me, the psychotic whale, right? Like just a narwhal in a cage whittling its tusk with a shiv to be even sharper like that. Fits based on the story of SeaWorld that you're telling.
Yeah, possibly. So, moreover, they claim that SeaWorld covered up or misled folks about Tilikum's behavior, which put future victims at risk.
All right, I think I'm on Heath's side, dude. In defense of the whales, I was at SeaWorld for like, I don't know, 4 hours before I was psychologically destroyed and started contemplating homicide against the trainers. I get it. I get it.
How many Olympic-sized swimming pools did you have? That's
Well,
the
that's
question.
no-
Measure it in teaspoons.
So, look, to list all the lies that Blackfish tells would be tiresome and exhausting because the movie is 83 minutes long and they fucking pack bullshit into an impressive amount of it. But I'm going to aim for some of the biggest ones. So, first of all, the film depicts a killer whale collection in Washington state that occurred almost 40 years before the film came out. And between the dramatic music and the camera filters, I'm amazed it doesn't end with, one of the orcas bending the fence at Auschwitz with its newly awakened mutant powers. But the sequence leaves viewers with 3 false impressions.
Gamnito. Mag.
But the
Stupid.
sequence leaves viewers with 3 false impressions. 1, that SeaWorld continues to collect whales from the wild today. 2, that Tilikum himself was collected by SeaWorld. And 3, that the collections done 4 decades ago were illegal. Now, none of that is true, right? SeaWorld doesn't collect killer whales in the wild and has not done so for over 35 years. Tilikum wasn't collected by us, and the collections 4 decades ago were conducted in compliance with federal laws pursuant to federally issued permits at the time.
Collected by us. Are you SeaWorld's lawyer? You have to tell us if you're SeaWorld's
Thank
lawyer.
you. That sounded crazy.
On the topic of separation, the film highlights 2 separations. In one instance involving a whale named Takara, the film leaves you with the impression that she was a calf when she was separated. In fact, Takara was 12 years old when she was moved. In the second, involving a whale named Kalina, the film misleadingly shows footage of a calf that is only days old. Kalina was moved when she was 4.5 years old because she was disruptive to her mother and other whales.
What the fuck is happening? You sound like Greg Abbott doing a PSA about the beautiful ice detention center. Did a whale thing happen to you? What's going on?
Saved
There
him from
I
a
was.
zip line. Yeah.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, there I was ziplining over the tanks. They can't jump that high. They promised me. But to be clear, SeaWorld does not separate killer whale moms and calves. And in the rare occurrences that they do move whales among their parks, they do so in order to, quote, maintain a healthy social structure. Or in layman's terms, to keep the big fish from fucking killing each other.
Okay, but both of those are the reason like that we use to justify redlining. So just color
Holy
me skeptical
shit.
all the way.
Fucking hell.
So, secondly, the film uses several animal rights activists who they claim to be experts who just are not experts, right? These scientists include Howard Garrett, Lori Marino, and Ken Balcom.
A fucking fish scientist named Marino. What are we in a fucking comic book?
Thank you. Yeah. Good friends with Madam Web. So Mr. Garrett, along with the cast members Samantha Bang and Carol Ray, joined with PETA in a previously filed lawsuit against SeaWorld. In this lawsuit, they equated SeaWorld's work with killer whales as slavery under the 13th Amendment.
Hey, PETA, you always say one too many things. This is a great example. Like, I think I was with you about the ethics of whales, and then you were like, okay, so, African-American people. Nope, you got to chop it. Never say your last thing.
Don't say your last thing.
End it.
We got to hire Heath as a group to just be like, and stop talking. I think we do it. All right. Finally, and perhaps ickiest of all, the film straight up lies about the death of Don Brancheau, who they claim is what drove them to make the film. Quote, in the opening sequence, the film misleadingly cobbles together separate pieces of innocuous training and performance footage synced with the actual 911 calls to mislead the audience into believing it is viewing the actual footage of Miss Branco swimming with Tilikum prior to the fatal incident. In fact, the opening sequence does not depict either Miss Branco or Tilikum or an attack of any kind. From the date Tilikum arrived at SeaWorld, no one was allowed to swim in the water with Tilikum, and Miss Branco never did so. Purely for shock value, the film includes a recording of an EMT technician, subsequently proved to be mistaken, suggesting that Tilikum maliciously swallowed Miss Branco's arm during the incident. This is false, end quote.
He was later quoted as saying, I didn't want a wing, I wanted a leg.
All right, but how does swallowing the arm make it any worse, right? Like, I spit it back up so it's okay. He gave it back. But it's like Bill Clinton talking about how he didn't inhale here or something.
It made it worse. Yeah.
So like I said, there are a bunch of other lies in the movie, some of which are a lot more subtle, some of which you can argue, but that did not matter to the American people. So like Tom seeing a computer, people lost their motherfucking minds, and SeaWorld bore the brunt of their ire.
All right. Look, I don't object to seeing the computer, Eli. I object to the computer seeing me back. That's the...
So SeaWorld tried a pushback campaign, right? They created several debunking websites, they published articles, and in at least one instance, they tried to fudge an online poll about their own popularity, but it was too late. SeaWorld announced afterwards that it had suffered a $15.9 million loss.
Ooh, or in SeaWorld merch terms, that is, 7 gift store hoodies.
That's about right.
So at first, CEO at the time, Jim Atchison, tried to blame the loss on high ticket prices.
Oh, yeah. Too much revenue. That's why we lost money.
Yeah, exactly. That and poor weather. But by August of 2015, SeaWorld announced a 3% drop in revenue and an 84% drop in net income for the second quarter of 2015 when compared to the previous year. And these losses are definitely wild underestimates. How do I know? Well, in 2018, SeaWorld and former CEO James Atchison, remember him, agreed to pay over $5 million to settle federal charges that the company hid from investors the negative impact that Blackfish had on the business. As part of the indictment, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, Atchison had sold SeaWorld stock in the first quarter of 2014 in order to hide the loss in revenue. So even with their CEO dumping stock to keep prices high, they saw tremendous losses.
There it is. Eli had SeaWorld stock, and he wrote an episode about it. Lots of people worry about the captive whales, but the real victim is the concept of fiduciary responsibility and the well-being of stockholders like
Thank
Eli.
you.
Got it.
Yes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Eli, big deal. Some giant mega corporation theme park lost money. Who cares? Well, ironically, there are a lot of people who argue that Blackfish may have done more harm to sea life with their movie than help, even if they hadn't lied to do it. See, SeaWorld is one of, if not the, largest animal rescue centers in the world for marine life. And all that money has paid for over 40,000 total rescues, as well as one of the only 24/7, 365 rescue centers in the world.
Okay, so when Eli said he wasn't going to get into the arguments for or against, he meant for.
Even more ironically, rescue and care of orcas is even more affected. As you probably know, SeaWorld stopped its orca shows in 2015, and so the business behind orca rescue and training just stopped existing. And as you can imagine, this has hurt orca rescue efforts all across the world. And look, while I couldn't find anyone willing to put exact numbers to it, orca extinction warnings grow more and more dire, and there are very few people with the money or resources to help them.
All right. Well, if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Let's really hope they can crowdfund their war against billionaire yachts.
There you go. All right. You ready for the quiz?
Yes.
All right, Eli, which of the following is the best podcast about whales? A, cetacean needed. B, Gam, did that one earlier, whatever. C, Pod Save America.
Nice.
Or D, my favorite shamurder.
Yeah. Gotta be my favorite shamurder.
That is correct. Well done.
All right. Eli, what was the name of the ride where Cecil and Noah could pay a nickel to fuck an aquatic animal? A, seal the deal. B, stuffin' a puffin. C, balls to the wall, Russ.
Yes.
Excellent.
D, porpoise play.
Poor piss
it's,
play.
Porpoise
Poor
play.
piss play. Or piss
yeah.
play.
Aaron, I'm gonna go
Cecil,
with balls
did you
to the
write
walrus.
these?
Cecil
No,
wrote
I
these.
have
stole-
no idea what you're talking about. No, I don't know what you're saying.
That's it.
They were great. They were for anyone's picking. I picked.
Tom, you want to take D one more time, though? Cecil,
take
I
that?
think, wants
You
you to
wanna
take
get
D
another
one more
take?
time.
Going
Porpoise
over?
play.
There you go.
Porpoise. I
Craig,
wrote
can we
this.
touch up his makeup?
I wrote this.
No.
All right, balls to the walrus it is.
That's balls. I will check with Cecil. Cecil, what do you think?
It's poor piss play. Sorry,
Porpoise
man.
play.
Ah, okay.
All right,
All right.
These
I
were
have a
too good to
question for
pass
you.
up.
Yeah, right. I have a question for you, Eli. What do orcas generally yell before attacking rich people boats? A, ready your yacht, here we come. B,
That'd be excellent.
That's so good.
sorry to barge in on you like this. C, my favorite show murder.
Callback. That's such a good fucking pun.
Thank you. I thought, yeah, right. Or D, you knew we'd get you sooner or later.
Oh. I'm gonna go with ready your yacht, here we come.
So
Yes,
good.
that is correct.
Oh,
it was
ready
that.
Yay.
Wow.
Ready your yacht.
Wow, Eli, you
Here we
won
come.
this week.
I win. I will do another essay next.
No, you will
we're
not.
we're gonna have Noah do next week's essay.
All right. Well, for Eli, Heath, Tom, and Noah, I'm Cecil. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to a multitude of our other shows on various podcast platforms. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod, or you can leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. If you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
And let's give it up for our star of the show, Francois.
Well, see, he loves it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he loves it.
Aidez-moi!
Hey, baby, boy, you too, buddy. Hey, baby, boy.